Good evening. My name is Ellen Truskowski, and I am the Director of Student Assignment. And tonight I am joined by...
Hi, my name is Mandy Leathers, and I'm the staff developer for our district application programs and student assignment.
We're here tonight to try to help make the overwhelming task of trying to take 90 different programs that are available through our Magnet and Fundamentals and try to make it a little bit easier to navigate. How do you go from having so many choices to narrowing it down to make some determinations and decisions when the January application period comes around? So we're going to start with just some basic information about our Magnet and Fundamental programs, and then we're going to go into steps and tricks or tips to help make the journey a little bit easier for you. So one of the first things, you may hear people call them district application programs, and that is because you have to apply for them. So we offered 89 different Magnet and Fundamental programs, and what it means is that you have to apply for them. There's a randomized selection or a lottery, and an acceptance and an offer to attend. We have two different models we offer in Pinellas County. One is school-wide. That means every single student at that school is there because of the Magnet or Fundamental program. And then we also offer programs within a school. So we'll have several schools that have different programs at their school. Some of our programs have geographical application and transportation areas, and we'll go into that shortly. And our Magnet programs provide arterial transportation. And what that means is it's limited stops on main roads. So one of the first questions that we will typically get is, what is a Magnet program? A Magnet program is a program that is usually based around a specific interest or a theme. So you hear a lot of schools talk about screening their different career academies. We have international programs like International Baccalaureate, as well as the Cambridge ACE programs. STEM programs, technology and innovation. So you have quite a few choices in every single grade band, so elementary, middle, and high. We follow the standard curriculum, but it's enriched with innovative teaching methods or thematic integration, and we basically tailor it around whatever that theme is. Fundamental programs are a little bit different. So they are more focused on, sometimes you'll hear people say, like a back to basics approach. They are a family-focused, highly structured environment with that type of approach. There's a strong commitment from both the parents, the school, and then students. Key components typically are a daily homework requirement, there's a dress code requirements, behavioral standards, and then monthly required parent meetings. Transportation is not provided for these options, with the exception of Thorogood Marshall in South County, and then our high school programs within a school. So Dunedin High and Boca Ciega High will do limited transportation. Most of our programs do not have academic entrance criteria. We do have a few that do. If you are applying for or interested in the Centers for Gifted Studies, you would need to have a letter of acknowledging gifted eligibility or an active educational plan. There is a screening process that is part of the Centers for Literacy Innovation. If you are interested in Gibbs PCCA, which is the Pinellas Center for the Arts, Pinellas County Center for the Arts, there is an audition or interview process. And then our high school ACE and IB programs have grades, test scores, and you have to pass the Algebra EOC, or end of course exam. Some of our programs have application areas, and what this means is that you have to live in a required or designated area to be able to apply for certain programs. We also have countywide programs where it doesn't matter where you live, anyone is able to apply. How do you determine what your application area is? It is based off your residential address. So our elementary and middle school programs are based on the zone middle school. I know this is a little confusing, but if you look up your middle school, that's going to help determine what application area you are in for your elementary and middle schools. Your high school programs are based on the zoned high school. There's a couple special areas, and we'll go into that shortly. We do have a tool on our website at pcsb.org/zone. If you go there, you can enter your address, and your zoned middle, elementary, and high school are going to appear, and that is what you're going to use to determine what application area you are in. So I'm going to start with elementary and middle application and transportation areas. So if you go to that website of pcsb.org/zone and find your zoned middle school, if you are zoned for Carwise, Dunedin, Palm Harbor, Safety Harbor, or Tarpon Springs, you are in the North County application area, which means you can apply for elementary or middle schools that are located in the North County application area. Largo, Morgan Fitzgerald, Oak Grove, Osceola, and Seminole put you in the Mid-County application area. And South County schools, if you're zoned for Azalea, Bay Point, Johns Hopkins, Meadowlawn, or Tyrone. And what this means is if you are in a North County application area, you can apply for these elementary schools and then the following middle schools. With this, there's also a couple other areas that we have, but this is the application areas for North County. Mid-County, similar thing. If you are zoned for those schools, you can apply for these elementary and those middle schools. And then our South County. Our fundamental programs for elementary and middle school are all countywide, which means it doesn't matter where you live, you can apply. Most of these programs, with the exception of Thorogood Marshall, do not offer transportation. Thorogood Marshall does provide South County arterial transportation because they also have a gifted center located on their campus. We also have a Gulf to Bay South. So if your address is south of Gulf to Bay, you can apply for Gulf Beaches or Perkins and Johns Hopkins Center for the Arts, as well as their journalism program, and Tyrone. If you live north of Ulmerton, you can apply for Kings Highway or Sandy Lane elementary schools. And then if you live south of Ulmerton, you can apply for Douglas L. Jamerson, James B. Sanderlin, Midtown Center for Literacy Innovation, or James Sanderlin. We will have all this information posted in charts on our website. So after tonight, and we take into some of the comments to try to make things more clear and easy to understand for you, we will upload these materials and as well as information to help better understand what application areas each of the schools are at. High schools are a little bit different. So in addition to an application area, we also have limited transportation areas. So we do have, just like the elementary and middle school, we have a North, a Mid, and South County application area, which is based off of your zoned high school. So if you go to that website and you enter your address, it's going to tell you your zoned high school. So if you are zoned for Countryside, Dunedin, Eastlake, Palm Harbor, or Tarpon Springs, you reside in the North County application area. If you're Clearwater, Hollins, Largo, Pinellas Park, or Seminole, you're considered Mid-County application area. And then South County, if you're zoned for Boca Ciega, Gibbs, Lakewood, Northeast, or St. Pete. There is an asterisk there because the Cambridge ACE program at Hollins is also considered the South County application area because we don't have any further south. We do allow anyone in South County to apply and attend the Cambridge ACE program at Hollins. Boca Ciega High School. This is just an example of what you'll find on our website, and I just wanted to give a couple schools examples to understand that the application area doesn't necessarily equate to the same thing as a transportation area. So for example, some are the Center for Wellness and Medical Professions at Boca Ciega. The application area is Gulf to Bay South, and the transportation area is also Gulf to Bay South. But if you look at the fundamental program offered there, The fundamental program is offered countywide application area, but it only transports high school south. So this is kind of more of a shared responsibility. So if you're able to get your child to one of the arterial stops at high school south, we will transport the rest of the way into the school. Same idea with Clearwater High School. The Cambridge ACE program is a mid-county application and transportation area, but their CAKE program, or the Center for Academy for International Culture and Commerce, is countywide application area, but we'll transport, if you get to stop at Almerton North, we will transport you the rest of the way in. And I'm going to quickly go through this because this is going to be located on our website, but you will see that each of the different schools have an application area and transportation. Sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're a little bit different. And I know that was very overwhelming. This will be located on our website embedded, so you're able to go back and review. We also have some steps on how to determine your application area online with that. So I'm going to turn it over to Mandy for a little while to help kind of go over what steps you can take to help navigate this and not make it as overwhelming as it may appear right now.
All right, so we talked about going from sort of that big idea of I have lots of options, and how do I narrow them down to those schools and programs that I would like to apply for in January. So the first step is going to be to find and visit your zoned school. You can find your zoned school again at pcsb.org/zone. And there you'll enter your address with your house number and then the street, and it's going to give you your zoned elementary, middle, and high school. You can learn more about your zoned schools by visiting their website. There's lots of great information that you can find there about their programs, academics, before and after school offerings, etc. And you can also visit your zoned school for a tour and meet with the administration to learn what is offered there. Your next step would be to explore your options for district application programs by attending a magnet and fundamental fair. You can learn more about your program options by going to pcsb.org/DAP and downloading the DAP guide to get a brief description of all of the different program offerings. So whether you are applying for an elementary program or school, a middle school, or a high school program, all of that information will be here, along with what application area and or transportation area that program applies for, or the programs that you can apply for based on your application area and or your transportation area. You can visit any of the DAP school websites to learn more about their specific programs as well. The DAP fairs, or the Magnet and Fundamental fairs, are coming up soon. These fairs are an opportunity to explore all of the magnet and fundamental options and to begin narrowing your focus to the ones that you're most interested in or the ones that best match your child's interests, talents, and or skills. Our big event is the All-County Fair. Our first big event is the All-County Fair, which will be held at Pinellas Park High School this year from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on October 25th. All magnet and fundamental schools and programs will be in attendance. Everyone is required to attend that event. So if you have some specific ones in mind, just know that they will be in attendance at that all-county fair.
And I just want to go a little bit in depth with the fairs. If you think of a trade show, every single program will have a booth. So you will get to meet the representatives from the schools. You'll get to see photos of their kids in action, and you'll learn a little bit more about what that magnet or fundamental program is all about. You'll learn about the different clubs. A lot of times they'll bring students, but it's a really good chance to see all the options that you have available to start to narrow it down.
The next fair will be on October 29th. That's the South County Fair from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Boca Ciega High School. The following schools will be in attendance. You can see the elementary, middle, and high school options listed below. Again, this information is found on our website at pcsb.org/DAP. This slideshow will also be posted there as well, so you can reference it at any time if you'd like to go back. The final fair will be the North County Fair, which will be held from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Countryside High School on November 5th, with the following schools in attendance for elementary, middle, and high school. Your next step is to narrow down your options. So like Ellen mentioned at the DAP fair, it's lots of people, lots of schools, lots of people in attendance, lots of information that you're gathering. After the fair, you have some time to review your options. You have time to review your information, visit the school's websites, do a little bit more research about the programs, and now you can start to narrow down your options to see what programs you might be interested in, gathering some more information about. You can gather more information in multiple ways. The first way is by attending a discovery night. So all schools that have a magnet and or a fundamental program are required to offer a discovery night, which means families can visit the actual campus. They get a chance to meet the administration and the teachers, get a feel for what the campus is like, and get much more information in depth about the programs, what the student's day would look like, what the resources on campus would look like, what kind of things that the kids have the opportunity to participate in on campus. Lots of different things are offered on those discovery nights, but they're held on the actual campuses of the schools. You can find a list of all of the discovery nights at our website at pcsb.org/DAP. If you look to the left side menu, there will be a tab that says Discovery Nights, and a list of all of the dates and times for the discovery nights are there. You can also look in Peach Jar for the discovery night flyer, and that will also have a list with all of the DAP discovery night dates. And you can visit the individual schools' websites for more detailed information about their discovery night. So all of the schools will have that information posted as well, with the dates and times and what you can expect by visiting their campus and their discovery night at that time. You also have the opportunity for a campus tour and shadowing opportunities for your students in our secondary program. So all DAP programs offer campus tours, so all of our magnet and fundamental programs will have that information available on their website, so you can contact them directly to see when and which days they're offering tours. Some high schools offer shadowing opportunities where your student can attend an actual part of a day or a full day of school with a current student, so that they really get a taste and feel of whether this is the right fit for them. You can visit each program's website to get shadow days and contact information for the administrator or the coordinator who oversees that, and get that scheduled. You can also find out more information about those shadowing opportunities for high school at the DAP fairs when you visit and talk to the staff at the tables there. So once you have gotten the big idea from the fairs or visiting the websites, you've narrowed it down, you visited a couple of campuses that you were really interested in for those discovery nights, now it's time to select your programs. You can choose up to 5 in January on your application. On your application, you're going to want to rank your programs in order of preference. So the one that you really want should be your number 1 choice, down to 2, 3, 4, and 5. So your first choice should always be your number 1 on down through 5. You can apply for just 1 program or up to 5. You can apply for 2, you can apply for 3, or just 1, or as many as 5. But please keep in mind that priorities, so sibling, feeder pattern, and we'll talk about that on our next live event in detail in January before the application period opens. But those priorities only apply to your first choice. So your number 1 ranked program, whichever one you want the most, should be your first choice, with those priorities only applying. The next step in this process is to be prepared. So there are things that you can do right now to be ready so that you aren't scrambling at the last minute, or, technology doesn't always work the first time. So we want to be prepared and ready to go and log in when that application period opens and have everything run smoothly for you. So one thing that you can do is to create your parent portal account and Focus if you don't already have one. You would go to focus.pcsb.org, and that website is at the top there. There's a green Create a Focus Parent Portal Account button. You would just click it, enter your email address. It's going to ask you a few details. It's really easy and user-friendly. And then you'll get a confirmation email from Pinellas County Schools to confirm your account. You just click there and your account is created. If your student is currently attending a Pinellas County school, attends one of our public and or our charter schools, you want to make sure that your child is linked to your Focus Parent Portal account. So how can you tell if they're linked? So you'll go ahead and sign into your Focus account. On the left-hand side, you'll see your student's name. And if they have a recent picture from their, photo day, it should be there as well. So you would look to make sure that your child is there, their name and or their picture on the left-hand side. Also, you're going to want to check to see that if you have more than one child, that all of your students are linked to you, but then also to each other. So you would contact your school's data management technician, or DMT, at your child's school to link them to you and to each other. So we want to create the account. If you're a current PCS family, you want to make sure that your students are linked to you, and if there are multiple students, that they are linked to each other. If you are new to Pinellas County, your student is not currently attending a Pinellas County school or charter school, you're brand new, an incoming kindergartner or coming from a private school, you can only link active students ahead of time. So you don't need to link your student. If you're coming in new, you can go ahead and create that parent portal account. You can do that right away. And then when you apply, so when the application opens in January, again, we'll give you further instructions and more detailed instructions before that opens. But once you apply, you're going to have the option to select Special Assignment Request, or SAR, / District Application Program, or DAP only. So that way you're just submitting the application and you're not creating a reservation to a zone school in addition to that application. So again, we'll put out more specific information closer to the application period about that. But if you're new to the county, you can go ahead and create that account. You're just not able to link your student just yet. It will be once you submit that application. Again, you're going to want to think about which programs you're going to apply for so that you are ready to go when that application period opens on January 6th. And with that, we're going to share some important dates. So these are also already on the website for you to reference. Again, we begin with those DAP fairs. The first one is October 25th. That's a Saturday. The next one is October 29th, and then followed by November 5th. Discovery nights occur beginning in September through January of 2026. The application window will open on January 6th, and it will close at 5 p.m. on January 16th. The acceptance window will open on February 10th. And close at 5 p.m. on February 20th. So mark your calendar with those important dates. You can see those dates and times again. The late application period will open on March 24th, 2026. We'll hold another YouTube live event on January 5th, so the day before the application period opens. We'll be right here, same time, 5:30 on January 5th, 2026. And at that time, we're going to actually walk you through the application process, show you where to click, discuss all of the different types of priorities so that you are ready to go on the 6th, the next day, when that application period opens. Again, you will apply January 6th through the 16th at focus.pcsb.org. There are 2 application periods. So the first one is that initial period, which is the 6th through the 16th, and then the late. So you want to make sure that you're applying during the initial application period for the best chance to receive an offer. So the way that it works is during that acceptance window in February, all of the invitations for all of the seats available are going to go out. During that window, families are logging back into their account. They're deciding, yes, we want to accept, no, we don't. And then let's say everyone accepts. Well, then there's no seats left for people who are applying in that late application period. Maybe only 75% accept. Now we have 25% to offer during that late application period. But it's always best to get your application for those programs in, especially our more popular ones, in that initial application window to have the best chance of getting an invitation. And with that, we're going to open for some Q&A. I know there have been some questions being dropped in the live stream chat.
So one of the questions is, if you are just joining us or missed the beginning, there seems to be some confusion or questions about what exactly a magnet or fundamental program are. And so as a district of choice, we offer different options. So if you go, as Mandy said, and check out your zone school and decide that maybe you want a different option or a different choice, you're able to apply for one of these programs. Our magnet programs are based around a theme, and the theme could be arts, it could be international studies, it might be STEM. And then the idea is the whole curriculum, the whole feel of the school is based around that theme. And so you could develop your child's interests, their talents, their skill sets with that. The fundamental programs tend to be a little bit more structured environment. One of the questions that came in, Manny, I'll let you answer, is does this mean it's just for remedial or students who are behind getting them back, because I said they were back to basics. So the philosophy is a little bit more of school like when we would have attended more so.
The fundamental programs are for any student. All of the same courses, all of the same rigorous curricular opportunities are available at our fundamental programs. When you think about our high school fundamental programs, students can still participate in, AP courses and some of those advanced opportunities, the same as they would receive it at any other high school. The curriculum is the same at the elementary and middle schools. They can take high school credit courses at fundamental middle school programs. The difference is that there's a heavy focus on parent involvement. So if that doesn't sound like you as a parent, that you are required to attend a meeting every month, if that's not going to work with your work schedule, then that might be an issue. If your child isn't one that's going to sit and do homework every night, then you may want to consider that before applying to a fundamental program, because the parent student school focus on responsibility and self-awareness and that really heavily structured environment is what fundamental is. So it's teaching kids responsibility. There's expectations for dress code that go beyond that of the district. Is another program kind of hallmark. But when we think about curricular offerings, you're going to find the same rigorous opportunities as in every other Pinellas County school at our fundamental programs.
Okay, thank you. So one of the other questions coming in is about the fact of, is it an after-school program? And no. So this would be in place of your zoned or neighborhood school. So you have the option to go to a different school that may have a specialized program. There's something else, and I don't want to conflict or confuse, but sometimes we get questions about something called a special assignment request, and that's where you could choose to apply to attend a different school, not one that has this specialized program there. So it is in place or lieu of the school that you would be attending. So if your child currently goes to Nona, it's not like you would sign up for an after-school program to be able to do the arts program at Sandy Lane. Your child would then attend Sandy Lane for the Conservatory of the Arts program. And then the arts integration in the different curriculum and lessons, the exposure to art and music focus groups, that type of thing. So it is in place of or in lieu of your neighborhood or zone school.
There was a question about, is there a dedicated fair for Mid-County? We hold the all-county fair in Mid-County. So that one, all programs will be in attendance, but Pinellas Park is in the Mid-County application area. So that's the one where we hold Mid-County, but everyone is required to attend that one. So no, not a separate one, but we do offer one of our fairs in the Mid-County area.
There's a question about that some schools already have their discovery nights, and if you miss the discovery night, does that mean you're not going to have the opportunity to visit a school? And that would mean no. So every school and every program will offer tours or campus tours where you're able to go. Depending on the school, it might be led by some students with some teachers or the magnet coordinator, but you'll get to actually see the classrooms in action. You'll meet some of the teachers. You learn about the program there, and so you'll still get a feel for what's it about. You can see the students and the teachers' interaction live as the school day goes on. So it's a great opportunity. If you did miss the Discovery Night, please just go to each school's website, and then you'll be able to see what tours schedule they have. If you go to our website, wpcsb.org/DAP, you'll see that we have Discovery Nights listed, but the name of the program is a link to that website. So if you're not sure, click the link on that PDF on the website, and it'll take you to the program, and you can learn more about what their tours are or their shadowing opportunities if they offer that.
There were a couple of questions about the application kind of process itself. So I just wanted to answer them quickly to kind of put some maybe nerves at ease. So the one was, does selecting more choices, the second choice, third choice, etc., hurt my chances of getting into my first choice in any way? And the answer to that is no. But what you would want to consider is that the randomizer is kind of weighted. So the way that it puts out offers in the selection system through the computer randomizer is that it's going to offer number ones first, followed by twos, followed by threes. So like that's why we said make sure that you're putting your the program that you want the most as your number one choice, because that's where your priorities are going to be applied, and those are the offers that are going to go out first for families' number one choices. So no, you can select as many as 5, and it's not going to hurt your chance at your number one school selection. And the second part to that was, is proximity priority automatically applied to our first choice? And yes, so proximity priority is applied to entry grade levels, so kindergarten, 6th, and 9th grade. And it's a formula that the computer generates and applies on its own, and we'll go into lots of detail about proximity priority on January 5th, but the answer to that question is yes, it's automatically applied. There's nothing that you need to click. Just make sure that your address in focus is accurate.
So another question coming in is this. Okay, you just answered that one. The after-school programs. If you're homeschooling, you tried to get your daughter into a program, she didn't get in, so we're homeschooling. So if you are homeschooling, you're not in a district application program. It is a separate process. You are withdrawn from our schools, so you can still apply for next year. And I do want to kind of go a little bit into that, because sometimes we get questions like, I applied for 4 years, I haven't gotten in. That's usually because typically the most seats are available in the entry grade level. So every year, whatever entry grade level that is, kindergarten, if it's for the Centers for Gifted Studies, 1st grade, 6th grade or 9th grade, that class moves up. And so there are that many open seats. After a student is in a program, they don't just go away. So if they're there, they're allowed to remain to the top or highest grade level. And so if we had 36 students in kindergarten and there's 36 seats in 1st grade and every student chooses to stay, there's not going to be openings as much in grades 1 through 5. We do see a class size average increase in 4th grade, so we typically have in our elementary programs, kindergarten and 4th grade are going to be the easiest or the best chance to get into a school. If you are applying for at Lisa Nelson or Midtown's Center for Gifted Studies or Literacy Innovation, those start at 1st grade. So 1st grade is going to give you the best chance of the most seats available. So that entry grade level is the most easiest to get into with that.
I think this is kind of related to that. I'm glad you brought that up, Ellen. But there was a question there: what's the acceptance rate for people's number one choice school? And it's just all dependent. So if you're applying for a second grade seat and it's a program that the kids all are moving from K to 1 to 2, your chances aren't going to be great, even if you select it as your number one. And then it all dependent on the year. It varies from year to year. So it's going to depend on how many people apply for that school. It's going to be, how many kindergarten applications come in. It could, vary greatly from the year before, depending on how many kindergartners were born in that birth year, and the incoming kindergarten class. It's not a clear-cut answer on what the chances are. But what we can say is that for the more popular programs, your chances are going to be fewer because there's more applicants, no matter how many it is. Just the ratio of how many applicants to seats is going to be higher versus others. So, that's not a very specific answer, but unfortunately, that's the. What other priorities would be applied to your first choice? Would be sibling, professional courtesy for parents who are applying for their child to come to the school that they are a full-time employee at. There is a district priority for 5% of full-time benefits eligible PCS employees. There's a proximity priority. Am I missing any? Feeder pattern.
Staff, prior, so professional courtesy
right.
with that.
Mm-hmm.
So moving to another school, so there's a couple different options. If you're looking for the district application program or a magnet and fundamental, you can apply. If you are currently in a magnet or fundamental program, our system needs is that you would have to go to the zone school first and then apply for a different program. If the initial application period, which is January 6th through 16th, we do allow anyone to apply at that time. There isn't a system with that, but it's a matter of putting in an application. Most of the schools will let you know what the size of the wait list. We review the wait list throughout the school year. Offers are granted. So as seats become available, they are making different options. Unrelated to the magnet or fundamental programs, there's also something called a special assignment request, and that is also online, also through Focus. You can go in, and if you go to that, your child's name, there's a drop-down menu, and then if you click on that, you'll see something called a late special assignment request, and that would give you the option of applying to attend a different school. It's all based on, is there available seats or room? So if there is a school that you would prefer to, and transportation is not provided for this option, and you can drive your child to school, if we do have seats available, you can apply for that, and that would give you the option of being able to attend a different school other than your zone or your current selection.
A question that just came in: is there any kind of private testing that would improve an application for gifted or other magnet programs? So for gifted, as Ellen mentioned before, a student has to be eligible for gifted services as defined by the state of Florida. So your child has to be eligible or have an active education plan. So they would have had that testing to determine their gifted eligibility done or be in progress with that gifted testing. So for any of our other elementary magnet programs, there is not an academic criteria. So no one's looking at your students' grades or test scores and determining offers based on that. It's a randomized selection process. It's a lottery. So minus those programs that Ellen mentioned that have the academic entrance criteria, there wouldn't be any kind of testing that would give your student an edge. It's a randomized process. So it's a lottery.
There's another question about, is it possible to know which schools are popular in a given year? We won't really know that until the actual application period opens. We do have some popular programs all along, like Palm Harbor University's Center for Wellness and Medical Programs is a very popular choice, as well as their International Baccalaureate or the IB program. Perkins is a very popular program with art. So we have ones that tend to be popular, but each year, if you get the right teacher, the right coordinator, you'll see different people apply. So we don't really know until the application period opens what are the more popular programs and who's applying for which. Okay, so there is another question about the wait list, and Mandy has been handling or doing a lot with the wait list questions. So is there a wait list for people who wanted to get into a school but didn't? And do you contact people on that wait list if a seat opens?
Yeah, so everyone applies during the initial. And then, like I said a little bit ago, there are a certain number of seats for each grade level that are offered during the acceptance window. Then families are going in and seeing which schools they received offers for and then making their selection. So keep in mind that, you may receive one offer, two offers, no offers, just depending on which programs you are applying for. So let's say a family decides to accept one, but they had gotten two offers. Now that second offer is no longer valid for that family and can be offered to someone else. So that would allow us to offer from the wait list. So when more applicants apply to the program, then seats are available. The remaining students are added to the wait list. So as seats are declined, then we can go to the wait list and offer the next person on the list the seat. At that point, you would be contacted by myself or by the school, and you could, decide at that point you'd like to accept the seat.
So if you just moved here and you're in second or third grade, not necessarily. We do have programs that have available seats and opportunities. So that would just be calling the student assignment office, which is 727-588-6210. Once again, 727-588-6210. And you would either ask to talk to Mandy, myself, or Jackie, and we can go through what your options are. We'll go through your neighborhood school. We can go over the differences between a special assignment request as well as magnet programs. We're able to see the size of each wait list. We're able to see if a school has available seats. So it could be something that if you just moved here and you're trying to learn your options, definitely call our office and we can help walk you through what your options are and what the possibility of getting into a different school or different choice is.
There was a question, is the application period the correct time and place to apply for IB? The answer to that is yes. Any other requirements for IB? Yes, as well. Those requirements can be found on the school's website specifically, but they're looking for you to take Algebra 1 honors. They're looking at your test scores to be at a certain cutoff. They're looking for those specific academic criteria that IB going into high school expects for. The question wasn't specific to grade level, but for elementary primary years program and the middle years program for middle school, there are no academic entrance criteria requirements, just when you're going to enter or apply for IB in high school. The coordinators will review that student information and then determine eligibility from that point.
So one of the questions is asking about reserved seats. And we don't really reserve seats for any of our programs. They're open to anyone, with the exception of the few that do have entrance criteria. One of the biggest things is that we do have something called a feeder pattern priority, or if you think of it as program continuity. So if you are in a Center for Gifted Studies in elementary school, you rank or apply for a middle school Center for Gifted Studies, and you rank it number 1, you could get that program continuity or feeder pattern priority, which gives you a better chance of getting into or continuing the program at a higher level. We typically offer feeder pattern priorities for elementary going into middle. The only exception for high school programs tends to be our fundamental. So we do offer a program continuum or feeder pattern for fundamental going from middle school to high school.
There was another question about why would a family receive 2 offers through the system? Well, it depends on how many seats are available and how many apply. So if we use just 100 as a random number, right? If I have 100 seats available and I have 500 applicants for those 100 seats, then I'm going to have 400 remaining on that wait list. But if I have 100 seats and I have 90 applicants, then everyone who applied is going to get an offer. So it just depends on the programs that you pick and how many people are applying. So it's possible to get more than one offer for the programs that you have applied for.
And we'll go more in depth. Like right now, the purpose of tonight was just kind of, it is overwhelming. Where I grew up, you had one elementary school, one middle, and one high. And I came to Florida, and it was school choice and magnet programs. And so there's 89 different options for families to choose in addition to their neighborhood school with their magnet fundamental. So we're really just trying to kind of explain what it is in plenty of time. Our first fair is coming up on October 25th. So it gives you some time to go to the website, look at the guide. We do have guides that will be hard copies of guides that will be going out somewhere between October 15th or 16th through up to the fair date. So the week before the fairs, every pre-K student, every 5th grade student, and every 8th grade student will have a guide that will come home. It's also located on our website right now. So if you go to www.pcs.org/DAP, you'll see the guide there that's on Spanish as well as English, and it'll give a brief description of every single program. The website also will have information on our different schools. There's brief introductions. There's the discovery night, so you can look at the fair you would go to, check out a discovery night, or get a campus tour, but just kind of how to make it a little less confusing. On January 5th, Mandy and I will be back walking you through how to apply. So we will, at that time, it'll be a little bit longer because we're going through what every priority is, how do they work, how does the lottery work, and we will actually walk you through step by step so you can see the application being done to make it a little bit easier on how to get where you need to go, what to do, and how to make sure that you did actually apply correctly. So that'll be back on January 5th with it.
All right, I don't think we missed any questions here. If you think of anything, feel free to email us. Our information has been at the bottom of the screen a couple of times, but you can reach either of us at our email address at dap@pcsb.org. That will come directly to an email account that Ellen and I both check and have access to. Or you can call our office and you can ask for one of us at 727-588-6210. Again, I'm Mandy. That's Ellen. Jackie is also in our office and is very knowledgeable about these things as well. So if we're not available, you can ask for Jackie, and we really appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thank you so much.